Our kids deserve a new building because they come and they study hard as they can. And a lot of times, we throw things at them thinking that's not that important. But when they see this building, that tells them, you are very important to this community. We always get leftovers. And so this is not a leftover. This is actually genuine building for our kids.
When I think about equity, I think about putting the greatest resources in the places that have been most disinvested from. That's why I focus on Rainier Beach. That's why I focus on Skyway, areas that even before I was a council member, I was thinking about the impact of government neglect in these areas. When I was going to Franklin, we used to talk about Rainier Beach as the place that is the toughest, the places that is most under-resourced, the places where students go to struggle the most. And that's a narrative that we don't want to persist. And so when I heard about this new building, Rainier Beach by us, for us, I thought about the next chapter. A page is being turned in the chapter book. I think about the young people who are experiencing historic levels of mental health issues, historic levels of substance use disorders, historic levels of gun violence. They are localized in the areas that have been most neglected by our business community, by our governments, by our institutions. And so I try to focus on those issues.
6 months ago, we were sitting here under a tent and didn't think about it just now. We're about in the same spot, and we got a building around us though, so we're making progress. When we started, we had no idea where to go as far as workforce and who our partners were, what that looked like. I think what you see in the work we've done and the connections with the pre-apprenticeships feeding into the hires and the actual apprentices on site is we've really been able to establish an actual pipeline. I can tell you start to finish how you work your way to being a carpenter. That is really what we've been up to, and I think that is really the biggest demonstration of the commitment of the work we've done.
When we're talking about a project on this scale, we can approve funding at one point, but when we actually break ground, that can oftentimes change, right? And so making sure that you are plugged in not only with the community, but with the staff at Seattle Public Schools, making sure that the project actually continues to have the adequate level of funding, making sure that funding is not diverted to other buildings, especially up on the north end, when we know that in order to build a building of this magnitude, we're oftentimes going to need more, especially coming out of the pandemic when things have gotten ridiculous in terms of a raise in costs and things like that. So there are a number of ways that we not only ensure that the funding stayed in place, but also make sure that much of this money is going to the students who are working on this project through the Student Community Workforce Agreement and other measures. The benefit of a Student Community Workforce Agreement is that the kids that live in this neighborhood, the kids that go to Rainier Beach currently, their families have an opportunity to not only get good experience working on this project with labor partners, but they also make sure that the millions of dollars that we are investing in these projects, a portion of that is going back directly to support the communities and the students specifically that live in this neighborhood. So this is not just a project about building a new school. This is a real representation of economic justice and the approach that Seattle Public Schools and every other government agency should be taking, making sure that tax dollars stay in the communities where they come from.
We've taught 78 people through pre-apprenticeship connections how to, what AD was talking about earlier, how to hustle work. Showing up to a job site, convincing the superintendent in a 30-second window that they should bring you onto their project. The work they're putting in every day, let's be honest, I'm the PM, they're beating me to work for sure. You know, they're putting in the commitment and the work. They're bringing in a ton of energy, a ton of excitement and passion, enthusiasm. You can't, talk to that group and not get a little excited about coming to work and helping support them.
This is the first company I've ever been at where they really care about helping with everything. They told me about ANEW. They, every day, there's no bad vibe. Everybody's ready to work. Everybody's happy. Everybody gets along. There's no harassment. It's just I'm learning here, and I'm just like the rest of us, it feels good to be a part of building this project.
The sense of pride of walking by and being like, oh yeah, I did that, I built that, or I had a hand in building that. I think that is an awesome feeling. And definitely the crew, they have made this experience so much better. I know that I can go up and ask anybody a question and I could think that it's the dumbest question ever and they will explain it to me, and I feel better, and it's really cool. It's really cool.
It's interesting. I'm always wanting to be here. I'm ready to go to work, and yeah, the elements don't really bother me when you're in a place that you feel is going to support you and keep the good vibes.
Young men and young women who fought for this school to be a part of building this school, I mean, that speaks volumes right there. I mean, you know, they can say, hey, we got a chance to be part of this monumental structure. Not only did we fight, but we helped build. So it gives true meaning to the built by us. I remember there was a point where the school, the population had dwindled down to 250 kids. They were talking about closing the school down and merging it with Cleveland High School. Fortunately for us, the way they had built Cleveland High School, it wasn't going to be big enough to fit our students, so they had to scrap that. We just, as a community, believe it was in God's plans, but this right behind me.
It just makes me incredibly proud to know that the children that I'm going to have in the future are going to be able to attend a high school that not only was fought for by the community, but is also going to be sustained by the community as well, right? We want to revitalize areas, bro. And a big part of that is making sure that the schools are good, man. So while we are super excited about Rainier Beach, this is not the only project that we got going in the South End. We just rebuilt Kimball. We're gonna be rebuilding a lot of other schools in the area. And it's long past time for the kids in the South End to have schools that match their brilliance. So I'm just excited to be here and be a part of it, and to be a steward for the short time that I have on the board has been a real life's honor of mine.
I think this project and really this community has pushed us as a company, and definitely me personally, on what this work can look like and what we can do.
It's amazing to see community coming together around this project, seeing people get jobs, seeing young people learn, seeing our community just feel like it's thriving and vibrant. That's the most exciting part.
I'm really proud of the people that are actually at the communities and the parents and people that helped make this possible, because I didn't do it by myself. It took everybody in this community to make it happen, and I'm really proud that it finally become a reality. Our kids need this. They deserve the best building we can do. And this is for Rainier Beach kids. And I'm really proud. I'm not gonna cry.
Welcome to Rainier Beach High School.